Welcome everyone. So today we are going to recap what happened this week. We're mainly going to come back on the spreadsheet first to just visualize a little bit the key data, and then we are going to analyze the swing before the week and the swing after the week. And yeah, that was a very interesting week. So let's get to it. First with the data. So the fat loss journey. Well, that was a little bit not disappointing, but I look at it and I believe because the scale I use to get those data is not a very accurate one. So I might have understand what it is because with 1,000 deficit that I'm doing per day, that's impossible that I'm not losing fat. So what's strange is the fact that this 17 point actually increased. So the main thing that I see is you see that there is a loss in muscle mass, which is mainly due of the fact that I believe I started overtrain and my body wasn't able to recover, and so that's why I started losing a little bit of muscle here. But what's interesting, that's what the data don't really explain here. Uh, when you're losing muscle mass, when you're losing mass in general, for the same number of percentage, or if you keep the same amount of fat, but you're only losing muscle, the percentage of fat is going to increase. But the fact that it stays roughly the same, despite the fact that I've dropped 0.7 in total mass, I believe means that in all of that, there was a little bit of fat that was lost. But so that even if that's kind of disappointing given how much I worked on. And so what I believe happened is something that doesn't show here is the water retention. Even though here there is a percentage of water, as I said, that's not a very accurate measure. So I need to take that with a grain of salt. And actually, that's kind of the joke of the week, the salt, because what happens when you're losing fat, um, you're going, and especially given how much work I'm doing, I'm drinking a ton of water. And so you can tend to retain, so you are dropping a lot of salt out of your body because of sweating and so on. And so you tend subconsciously to put a little more salt into your food. Also because you're starving, and so you want kind of more taste in your food. So without realizing it, you're kind of retaining a little bit more water, especially given the amount of water that I'm drinking. And so what can be a little bit disappointing when you're trying to lose fat is you are retaining so much water, and the water is kind of storing in roughly the same place as your fat. So that's very difficult to distinguish the difference between your the fact that you are retaining water and the fact that you are losing fat. Both are stored in almost in the same place. And so what happened is, even though I surely have lost fat this week, this is not even question. Given how much and that's also what is important, is trusting the process. Given how much expenditure I'm doing per day, and given how much food I'm eating per day, I have an average, and we are going to see it, of 1,000 calories per day of deficit. So this alone ensure me that I'm going to lose fat. As long as I'm not tricking with my diet, as long as I'm recording everything, and I'm sure I'm eating my 1,000 calorie deficit per day, I'm on the right track and I'm losing fat, and about a kilogram of fat per week. That's about what it is. So now I need to understand a little bit the data and the fact that they are not line up with what I'm doing, and also just understanding why. But if that's the case, it means that first of all, this week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to control the amount of water that I'm drinking. One bottle just for me on a daily basis, and then another for the sport I'm doing. So this is going to be the gym and the golf. And I'm going to try to stick to only 2 bottles of water, 3 liters, because I believe at some point I was about 3 bottles of water per day, which might be a little bit too much. Anyway, so let's move on to. Also, I'm thinking something with the speed. I might do something very interesting that I thought of. I might track the minimum, the average, and the maximum for the week, and also on a daily basis, because I believe at the end of the year, this is going to make a very interesting graph where you will have the upper and lower bound, so my speed, and you will have the average. And if the average is closer to the lower bound, it means actually that I worked more on technique rather than on speed. And if the average is closer to the upper bound, the max speed, it just means that I worked more on speed than on technique. And I believe that if I track this throughout the entire year, at the end we will have a nice graph steadily rising towards 130, and we'll see the point where I actually work more on speed, work more on technique, and so on. I believe that could be very interesting to see at the end how it look like. So I'm going to work on that this week to start putting the data of the first 3 weeks. So regarding the second week, so I had only this day, and I believe this is because my body started where I wasn't at 1,000 calories. Oh, sorry, you don't see it very well. Let's put it that way. So this day where actually I wasn't at 1,000 calories per for that day, I believe this is because my body kind of forced itself into a recovery mode. I really had a very low level of energy here. That was very tough to do gym workout and going practice after. But I managed to do it. But my body was running so low on energy that actually I wasn't able to get above 2,500 calories of expenditure for the day. And that kind of surprised me. That's why when I reached the end of my day, I realized, oh shit, I've already eat too much. I cannot, and I'm going to bed, so I cannot expand more. But that compensates with the fact that actually, if we look at the average, I believe I'm still way above with all, because as you see, I average, yeah, even if one day I fucked up, the average is way above 1,000 calories of deficit per day. So that's kind of the thing. But here we can see that the work in the gym still dropped in terms of expenditure, because my energy started dropping a lot. And also I started pushing me less and less during the 1,000 workout, just doing chilly. But at this point, that's okay, because I'm not doing it, forcing myself to do. First of all, I'm only doing 5 rounds. So let's take a look at it. Well, on the first, so that's this one, yes. On the first week, I was kind of pushing every 2 days to increase, to keep up, to keep my metabolism up. And here, because of the drop of energy and so on, I took a little bit more days before actually going for 5 rounds. And I believe that's why I took too much. Normally, I should have ended up the week at 6 rounds, and that would have enabled me to keep my metabolism high enough to be able to stay above 500 calories for the workout. And I believe that's kind of what happened here. I increased the intensity at a slower pace than what I was doing last week. That's why last week I've been able to kind of maintain myself, even though the last day was kind of off. But I was kind of able to maintain myself around 500. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot of things that can be the cause, but so mainly what I'm going to start at 6. I don't want to push, but I'm going to probably do 6, 6, 7, sorry, 7, 7, 8, 8. So by the end of week 3, we should be already at 8 rounds of the 1,000 reps workouts. So 800 reps. Only thing that I'm going to change, and I've already make a little bit of change, is on the exercise selection. Here I'm doing an abs exercise I don't know how to explain it, but basically, this is the back the machine or yeah, the thing where you're doing the abs, the back extension, but you're parallel to the ground, then you're dropping your upper body and you're moving back up to parallel to the ground, where you have your legs that are parallel to the ground. And so, but if you're doing it in reverse, actually that become an abs exercise. And I take a dumbbell just right here. So that's kind of and here I want to do the same exercise, but I want to do it in with the obliques. That's where that's going to work my core. So obliques exercise. Let's try to do 10 reps. The reason why I want to change that is because given how much reps I'm doing with all the exercise, with all the golf and so on, I start feeling a little bit of joint pain in my knees. And the two exercises that I've changed are actually things that are jump and which put a lot of pressure on my knee. And given how tired my legs are, when your muscles are getting too tired, what happens is they are not having the role they need to have to actually absorb the shock. And so the joint are taking all the pressure. And so I believe since this week I went overboard and was actually getting overtrained, and so my muscle wasn't able to be more as efficient as it used to. So that's why I did that. And also I went down to just do body weight squat at the point. Overhead, I still do 40 kilos. And so I think that's it, because I'm going to do that this week and see how my body recover, and if the joint pain starts going away, and how I'm able to recover, and see if I'm able to actually stop overtraining, actually get better and better and feel better. That's just kind of the say here, because I don't want to get injured or anything. We are at the beginning. This is only the second week, and so we are still 6 or 7 weeks left. So we are still a very long time to go. So let's not get injured. If focusing more, because the 1,000 reps is 1,000 reps. You don't care if that's a abs exercise, a legs exercise. So if at the moment the limiting factor is my legs and especially my knees, because doing golf, since I work on rotation, I put a lot of torque on my knees, and so that alone is a little bit painful. So I need to be very careful with that. I don't want to get injured. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of it for that. So also, yeah, I dropped initially. I wanted to maintain. Also, that's kind of the thing that I did in order to limit the volume and be able to recover faster. And I dropped. So instead of trying to do 10 reps for each, I dropped to only 1 or 2. The goal is for the strength work. Since I'm losing fat, doing ton of volume and so on, I'm only it's good to grow muscle, or at least to maintain muscle and lose fat. But for the strength work, if on top of that I do actual strength work, I'm going to break through my maximum recoverable volume MRV extremely quickly. So what I want is much more doing the strength as a maintenance work, where I'm just okay. I put the max that I'm usually doing, and normally the heavy lift here was 180, but I felt something weird and I already got injured on my back, so I stick to 160. Especially I forgot my belt, so normally I should be able. My max is 200, but last time I tried 200, I got injured, so I didn't get back to it. So I'm very careful with that. But yeah, so I'm going probably to madness to just do few reps, go to my max, do one or two sets at 1 reps, just to get the stimulus of to my muscle of okay, you need to stay strong throughout this process. Okay, you are going to lose fat. and you are going to burn a lot of calories and so on, but you need to stay strong. This is just, I want to give that stimulus to my brain. You need to stay strong. And so that's kind of it here. And I forgot kind of recording the jump pro, but there is also another aspect. Boxing every single day, I realize, can be really tough on your wrist if you're not careful, because I kind of go a little bit hard at it. It's a heavy bag. So what I'm thinking is, now what I'm going to do is much more maybe shadow boxing, and also if I'm eating a bag, actually not eating it, just trying to touch it, and as soon as I touch it, just remove my hand before I create any impact on my wrist. Just touch, and just do cardio, because this is pretty much that. I'm not trying to develop power or anything. This is just to warm up for the session. So that's fine. Anyway, so I guess that's it for the workout, for the weekly review on the spreadsheet. Let's move on to the swing comparison. So let's pull up where it is. My swing of last week. So last week was 13, 14. No. Yes. 12. 12 is the last swing that I have for the week before. So let's take a look at it. Okay. And also something that I haven't told you, but I'm not cherry picking my swing, because I could spend a lot of time finding the swing that looks the closest to Rory as possible. But I'm not doing that. What I want is taking a random swing and actually getting it closer and closer to the ideal goal. And if at some point, even by taking a random swing, I found that again and again and again I'm getting closer and closer, it's probably a good thing here. So, okay, this position is not that bad. And we see that this is really this moment where I'm losing lag way too early, and I'm not able to rotate enough. And then I'm in the position where I try to force the rotation, and this is where it creates a lot of pressure on my knees. Actually, let's put myself a little shorter here. Like that. Here we go. So let's look at it a little bit in detail. So yeah, also I tried over this week to get, because I was kind of doing the lazy way. Here I was copy and pasting and a template, and so of course each of my swing are not necessarily in sync, and so that was creating some difference. But yeah, so mainly what I'm seeing here, and what we worked on this week was the idea of maintaining the spine angle, and we can see already here from Faison, his left shoulder here. Where is my mouth? His left shoulder here is kind of lower than mine, and which is mainly because of the fact that he's maintaining his angle a lot more. That's kind of the thing I understood. And you see here, left shoulder, his head is a little bit lower. The hand are not necessarily that high, that different. If you take a look at the beginning, I'm roughly at the same height here, but when at this point, my hands are roughly at the same height, so that's not the hand the issue. The issue is my body. The fact that by not keeping my angle, I'm getting up out of my posture, so my head doesn't move, even though I try to stay low. And him, because he's actually maintaining his angle, what happens when you're maintaining your angle is first, I'll explain in video, but what happens is you're bending to the side. And so by bending to the side and doing that, actually this is going to bring your left shoulder and your head lower by bending. And so that's how you maintain your angle. So that's mainly the kind of thing I'm seeing in the backswing. And here, one of the things, even though that was kind of better already, here the thing that I'm looking for is the fact that you see his shoulder are kind of leveled, even his left shoulder is even slightly below his right shoulder. So that's better, because in the past I was kind of having already my left shoulder really high, and so kind of better. But yeah, that's kind of here what's it's completely falling apart, the lag position. And so we'll see how it look at the end of this week. Let's move on to the next swing. Last swing of the week was this one. As I said, random pick. So the key difference, before I show you, because the swing that you see on the right is the swing that we are going to get closer over time. But since I found some stuff to maintain my angle here, I realized that at the moment I was closer to the dynamic of swing of Rory McIlroy 2011. And I believe in 2011 he was using a lot more rotation than verticality in his swing, and so his hands were lower. He was also rotating a lot more, creating a lot more lag, and so that's kind of the difference. So you're going to see here that my hands are much lower. They're much lower, but that's kind of the way I thought I used it, and you see my lower body is rotating a little bit more. Well, I'm still too far on my right side. That's not the best swing, to be honest. That's not the best swing. As I said, I picked random, so this position is kind of okay. A little bit better here, but it's still a lot of work, and that's something I found really at the end of the session. So what I'm really happy about is the shoulder. It's almost, I believe this point is lower than the previous video, and it's kind of, yeah, it's not that bad. It's still a bit high, to be honest. It's still a bit high, but it's a little bit better. Yep. So I know that doesn't look like much, but at least in terms of understanding, I've come a long way, because the thing that we are going to work on this week is actually getting my arm higher, and I believe that getting my arm higher, I'm going to be able to drop more, getting my left shoulder, my head a lot lower, and by doing that, I'm going to be able to do something that because you see here that having the arm higher, you need to pull down a little. And so the two heel forward that I wasn't doing at this point, we will be able to do it, because I believe that's the only way I can come back. Because I try to rotate, maintain my spinal angle, and get the arm very high. But what happens is after I have no clue how to come back with a rotation motion. So there is really this down motion first, and also there is what I've understood is with my upper body standpoint, point of view, it's mainly going down and on the side. There is no rotation at all. The rotation, I just need to feel that the rotation comes from my lower body actually moving forward, but that my upper body just doesn't rotate at all. That's kind of the thing I need to really think about. The upper body doesn't rotate at all, but this is the lower body that is rotating. And so since my sensation are much more upper body driven, I almost need that I'm dropping and moving sideways, keeping my chest completely closed, and just rotating the hip. But really, for me, that's just a consequence. I don't need to feel the fact that I'm rotating. The lag is maintained a little better also, not nearly enough. That's what we are going also to work a lot on, is being able to still maintain a little bit of lag at this point. Right, yes. I mean, I know that's not that much, but I believe at some point we will see something, because I believe if we take a look at the end of this month and the beginning of this month already we will see some difference. And once we will make the difference between the end of the year and the beginning of the year, it will make a huge difference. So of course, on a week-to-week basis, that's not going to be a big deal. But yeah, in terms of understanding, that's why I'm a little bit disappointed. To be honest, I thought the difference would be a little bit more obvious. But in terms of understanding of the thing I need to do and how I need to do them, that's night and day. So I'm happy about that, and we are on the right track. So that's mainly what I'm thinking here. And yeah, I'm really thrilled to see what's coming for this week. Mainly we are going to add a lot more verticality and trying to maintain that lag a lot more to get this is really this position here. Ah, shit. Yeah, between the two here. Sorry. Between the two, between here and yeah, at this point, you know, where the hand are just a little bit lower than the right pocket. I'm not there yet, and I believe that's probably the only difference here by getting my hand a little lower and a little forward compared to my chest, because I believe this is also that since I was doing a lot of just rotation, my arm gets a little bit stuck. So maybe if I add more verticality here, this is going to help bring my arm more in front of my chest and lower. And also something that I don't like, and maybe that's going to fix itself, I don't know, is the fact that my legs, left leg look fine at this point, but the right leg is kind of very extended here. I need to kind of bend it probably a lot more. That's probably the key here to be able to rotate my hips more, because and then because this is probably that since my right leg is too much behind, not rotated enough, then this is difficult for me to finish the rotation. Oh, there is a little thing here going on, but yes, interesting. And now I'm thinking about it, is maybe the right leg extend it's bending a lot more, and then this is the left leg that is extending, but it's kind of the right leg extending is much more a consequence maybe of because you see that his hip are kind of more forward than mine, so maybe he's by throwing his hip and then continue rotating and by extending his left leg, maybe just the forward motion is extending his right leg, while actually he's only trying to get it inside and bend it to rotate. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. Anyway, so I think that's it for today. Thanks you for watching, and yeah, we'll see this week how it goes and what are the results